All right. Hi, everybody. Rachel Herman here, and I'm here to give you an update on Desmos as well as IXL. I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right. So, as you know, our middle school math team has been very busy working around its curricular revision. We have moved to pilot two resources, and that was based on Appendix A, where we came up with this theory of action, which was if teachers utilize a guaranteed and viable curriculum that aligns to grade level standards, prioritizes an integrated study around inquiry and application of the individual disciplines of mathematics, as well as ensures access for all learners to build independence, then teachers could spend their time planning or co-planning appropriate scaffolds, building authentic relationships, and collaborating with other teachers. Again, prior to this, teachers had been curating their own math curriculum in grades 6th through 8th. And so the decision was made to pilot curricular resources. The two resources that were piloted were Zern and Desmos. This was done after a thorough vetting process of a total of 7 curricular math resources. Both of these resources are aligned to illustrative math. They were both given the highest ranking that you can get on Ed Reports, and they are both aligned to national math standards. The resource that the middle school team is recommending is Desmos. So Desmos spans 6th through 8th grade. It is the number 1 ranked resource according to Ed Reports. Like I mentioned before, it's aligned to national and state standards. Something that Desmos does that we felt it did far better than Zern is building conceptual, procedural, and abstract math fluency. And this is really going to prepare students as they move into higher level math courses, particularly at the high school level. It's available 100% in Spanish from their tutorials to their handouts, and it offers both a blend of digital and paper. The teachers did a analysis of both resources. The rubric used to rank the resources is linked there and is also attached in your executive summaries. The resource aligns to the instructional tenets that we have at the middle school level. So again, delivering instruction aligned to that gradual release of responsibility is really important to us. We know that that's how students learn how to be independent in their skills. And so this resource really aligns to those tenets nicely. Something that Desmos provides is formative data readily on the fly. So students are answering questions right within the platform. Teachers can see that data and be able to adjust instruction accordingly. There is a pacing feature in Desmos that allows teachers the flexibility to go slower or to accelerate when they're working with small groups. The academic language within Desmos was incredibly robust. And so again, we know that when students are using the academic language, when they're talking, when they're writing, that really promotes that college and career readiness. Parent communication is embedded into the resource. So keeping our parents informed about what their students are learning, how they can support their child is also important. And then lastly is that Desmos aligns to IXL, which is a resource that we are also recommending as a supplemental resource for remediation as well as acceleration. The student feedback was very positive around Desmos. They enjoyed the balance of digital and paper. They thought that the problems were engaging, real world. So most all of the units start out with some sort of a real world problem that they can relate to. A lot of feedback around they liked it way better than Zern, in the words of students, where they felt like Zern, they did a lot of work independently. And that is part of Zern's model. And so with Desmos, they felt like they were able to collaborate more with their peers, work more with their teachers. And then lastly, Desmos has an option where when students are answering questions, Their data, again, can be shared with the class, shared with the teacher right there just in time. And what students said that they liked was that those answers could be shared anonymously. So there's a button that the teachers can click that turns off the names and it makes the data anonymous. And the students really liked that. They liked that they weren't embarrassed if they got the answer wrong. They liked that they could, take a few more risks. And so, again, being a middle school student is hard. And so that feedback, I think, was well heard. Some of the key features and highlights around Desmos. So one is that it enhances our acceleration options. So Desmos recommends that rather than taking 2 years of math and putting it into 1 year, which is what our current acceleration model looks like, that you instead split a year of math into 2 years. And so our recommendation would be that students who are accelerated take 6th and then half of 7th grade, their 6th grade year. They take 7th grade, the second half of 7th grade, and all of 8th grade during their 7th grade year. And then they take that integrated one their 8th grade year. Again, the teachers viewed this really favorably, shared that trying to cram 2 years worth of math into 1 year is difficult. Another key feature is that it promotes collaboration and academic discourse. Each unit contains a unit overview that has explicit connections to the standards and provides teachers with an outline of the learning and success criteria. So there's no question that students and teachers know exactly what it is that they should be doing and how they know that they'll be successful, which points to research around when students know that, they are far more likely to learn. And then lastly, there are built-in practice days right within the scope and sequence for Desmos to ensure that reteaching is built in. And so again, if students are falling behind or if we find that we need to reteach, we're not falling behind in what we need to do. We're able to, build that right into our plan. So the professional development for implementation of Desmos, I've included Appendix C in your executive summary. We will develop our syllabus, the scope and sequence, and common assessments this summer, and we'll be doing that in partnership with Desmos representatives. We are scheduled to host a middle school math extravaganza in early August, where we'll have all math teachers receive training on how to use Desmos, the features, teaching with Desmos. And then we'll have our Summer Institute, which will be a time for teachers to collaborate and plan around our new curriculum. And then throughout the 2023-2024 school year, we will hold monthly strengthening sessions. And these will be hosted in conjunction with Desmos and planned with myself and our math team to support the continued implementation. So this will look like, again, targeted professional learning based on what we're seeing in classrooms. This will be, data analysis with what we're seeing on our common assessments. And so again, just not leaving anything to chance in terms of the implementation and the success of the impact of this curriculum for our students. The cost, so we're looking at $267,000 for a 6-year license. This includes online access for all students. We are looking at purchasing print consumables, so on the student workbooks. We are looking at the professional development, and then of course shipping and handling. So with Desmos comes our other recommendation of also adopting IXL as a supplemental resource to both Desmos for math as well as my perspectives for literacy. And so just as a reminder, we did present on IXL, but what IXL is a curricular resource designed to support a student's math and literacy development through targeted diagnostic assessments. So it's designed to be supplemental. It's aligned to Wisconsin state standards, MAP Forward, and the ACT. And the reason that we are so excited about it is that, again, IXL partners up with Desmos, with my perspectives. So it's already connected to the curricular resources that we have to be in support of acceleration or remediation. So where it will be used is in grades 6, 7, and 8 in both mono and dual language programs. And our rationale for this is that both Desmos and my perspectives are a 6th through 8th grade curriculum. But what we know is that we have roughly 60% of our students who are at the middle school level scoring basic or below basic on both ELA and math, according to the forward exam. And so we have significant gaps that are coming to us and that are currently with us. And the current curricular resource we are recommending provides grade level content, and it of course has scaffolds and ability for us to differentiate. However, we still have students who are far below grade level or far above grade level, and we need to have something there to help us to continue to close those gaps. And right now, our teachers are curating those supports on their own. And so what IXL does is it instead allows us the ability to give a student a diagnostic assessment to target specific skill deficits or, again, specific areas of acceleration, and then work with that student to remediate those skills so that we can get them closer and closer to being able to access grade level content. We've been piloting IXL in all of our schools really since January. And just a few highlights from each of our schools. At Butler, in grade 6, students are growing on an average of 26 skill levels. And for reference, 10 skill levels per month translates to a 6-point gain on the forward exam. So just some significant growth there, and that's some targeted work that their team is doing with 6th grade. At Horning, IXL suggests that for maximum growth, students should complete 30 questions per week. Horning has done this since the start of the pilot, except for 2 weeks that were actually shortened weeks. And then at Les Paul, in grades 6 and 7, students have practiced over 6,700 skills. So again, students are using it district-wide. We've mastered already 17,898 skills. We've seen proficiency on 20,398, and we've practiced 33,879. So we're really seeing some targeted effort go into, again, students working on the skills that meet their needs, and that's really been key. The cost for IXL for a 3-year licensure for every student is $102,000. The reason that we're exploring this from a 3-year lens and not a 6-year lens is that we're really looking at this as a gap closing tool. And so taking this in a smaller segment versus a larger segment to see, are we really getting our money's worth is something that we think is important. This gets us online access for all students. It provides a forward and map customized individual skill plan for every student, as well as professional support from our IXL training team. In terms of the professional learning and monitoring for IXL, all of our staff will be professionally trained with IXL over the summer. And then once the school year begins, our principals will actually be working with their student services teams and the IXL representatives to develop building-specific training plans. And so this is because IXL, again, is really catered towards individual students and their needs. We wanted the professional learning to be really targeted at the building level. So as a district leadership team, we'll be meeting with building principals on a bi-monthly basis to analyze our data, determine any additional learning, and then continue to collaborate. So I look forward to seeing you at the board meeting where you can ask questions. It'll be just me, but then on the following month in May, I'll be bringing teachers as this will be a discussion item. Thank you so much.